Well, it's likely one of the biggest purchases you'll ever make, your home. So you want to make sure the team behind you is helping you get the best deal and the best rates. So here now is Nicole Martinez, loan officer with Compass Mortgage. And this is a big part of the home buying process. This is, you need this person to be on your side and to be working for you. So let's talk about first where the market stands right now. I know that interest rates are astronomically high, but I want to hear from you what your experience is like, what the market feels like right now as a loan officer.
So they're not really high because rates are where they've been at an all-time prior to COVID.
Okay.
So COVID was really an uncommon period, right, for rates.
Right.
We probably won't see that again for a really, really long time.
Yes.
So the average rates always average from 5 to 8%.
Okay.
So yes.
So we were spoiled a little bit with our 2, sometimes 3% loans, and those people are sitting real pretty in their homes right now.
Yes.
But so we're cooling off. We're sort of back to normal a little bit. But I think when people look at a 7% mortgage, it can feel very intimidating. It can feel very daunting. Mm-hmm. How do you help people get the right kind of loan, the right kind of money for the property that they're buying?
So we cater the loan towards their needs, their specific needs. What is their monthly comfortable mortgage payment?
Right.
So if they don't want to exceed $2,500 a month, we're going to put them in that purchase price range and make sure that their realtor searches out a home in that price point.
Right. Mm-hmm. And I know, I'm glad that you mentioned realtors, because I know that there are some realtors and loan officers who work very closely together. You know,
yes.
There might be a realtor who only works with one loan officer. Why is that so important?
It's important because we mastermind together to make it work for our clients. So
yes.
If there's seller credits needed, if this realtor needs to negotiate seller credit, a temporary buy down. It's the lender's, due diligence to make sure that we communicate thoroughly with our realtor partners to get that for our buyer.
And it's sort of like any other working relationship. The more that you work with each other, the more deals that you do, the more contracts that you work on together, the more you kind of feel how people work and what options are out there. So I know that you work a lot with first-time home buyers. So we mentioned a little bit about, making sure people are comfortable with their monthly mortgage payment, but you also work with investors. And I know that's especially here in the Central Valley, where homes are a little bit more affordable, people want to put their money into real estate. How do you work with people there? How do you help find the best rate there?
So we have specific investor programs. If you're an investor and even first-time investors, if you don't have experience, we have these amazing debt service credit type loans that we're only looking at what type of income that property is going to bring in. So there's so many programs.
Yes. What do you think is maybe, because I know that just like you mentioned investor programs there are so many options out there for people to get into the real estate market or to get that first piece of property. Yes. What do you think is the most overlooked program or overlooked type of loan to get property in California?
I think the most overlooked or maybe overthought would be self-employed borrowers. So a self-employed entrepreneur who files their taxes and claims a little bit too much expenses, but they have phenomenal gross receipts.
Yeah.
They can afford the payment, but they think that because they have too many expenses, their net income doesn't qualify them for the typical conventional FHA type of loan.
Right.
However, we have bank statement programs, we have P&L programs, 1099 programs, so we have specific programs for them to help them get in. The interest rate is slightly higher, but it still helps them get their foot in the door while we create some kind of plan for them to maybe file their taxes for over the next 2 years and
Right.
claim a little bit more income so that they can get into a lower rate.
I think that's a great piece of information because I have lots of self-employed friends who find it difficult to do things because they don't have W-2s.
Right.
And so that's a good piece of information. Another good piece of information I really want to get to before we leave here is when is a good time to refinance? Because I know that lots of people are entering the market thinking, I'm going to enter now, but I'm going to refinance later.
Yes.
When do you suggest refinancing?
So refinancing is when it makes sense for you. If you are in that 2.5% to 3.5% rate, but you've leveraged credit card debt.
Sure.
Credit card debt is anywhere from 21 to 35%.
Yeah.
So you may think, wow, interest rates are too high right now in the 6 to 7.5% range, but let a financial professional, such as a lender, take a look at your overall picture to see if it makes sense for you.
Right, and that's why we need to find a trusted loan officer like Nicole. How can people get in touch with you at Compass Mortgage?
So they can contact me directly at 559-375-6907 on my website, through social media.
Okay. Okay, we'll put it all there at the bottom of the screen. We'll put it on our website as well. Nicole, great information. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Emily.